Now, I bet if we looked into some of your sensory stuff, your sensory preferences, your sensory yucks, your sensory yums, I bet we'd find some pretty interesting things. So I'm going to share some of my sensory stuff with you. And in the hopes of you kind of starting to think about the fact that there are no sensory kids, finger quotation marks. There's no difference, right? We are all sensory beings, guys. We all have central nervous systems. We all are taking in sensory information all the time from the environment, all the time. We're no different. It's just this variation of the degree of what we can handle, what we like, what overwhelms our system. Obviously, it's more complicated than that. But the point is that we all have sensory needs. So let me break it down. Let me share some of Vanessa's stuff with you. I'll get kind of vulnerable. They're not that bad. The first thing I'm gonna say, I love the beach. If you don't know me, then you're missing out. If you don't know me, you might not know that I adore the beach. I love the beach. Anytime I can be at the beach. What I do not adore, however, what I like cannot stand, it's like starting to give me the heebie-jeebies thinking about it, is sand underneath my fingernails. Ugh. Okay, I can tell you this. I can talk about it. And sand is what comes to mind because that's the thing that often gets under my fingernails that I have to not freak out and panic about. But it could be really anything under my fingernails. I do not like that sensation. And it's more than I don't like it. It makes me to the max uncomfortable. Now, I will say I'm not crying. I'm not panicking. I'm not fight or flight. But I'm close. And I will like be like, oh, I don't know what to do. And then I'll like want to get up and like, screw this, I'm leaving the beach. But I've worked my way through it. I have my own strategies. I OT'd myself so that I can enjoy the beach. But it really ekes me out. Like, ugh, like really, that's the first one. I also need a lot of movement. I need a lot of movement. So this is why I probably have such a big heart and understanding for our kids that are constantly moving because that is me. And as we're speaking, my leg is going under the table. I will be in an IEP meeting and I always have to make sure I'm sitting next to one of my peeps because my leg will be going like this under the table and it's like, oh my God. It happens in all circumstances. It doesn't mean I'm nervous. It doesn't mean that I'm stressed. I've literally been sitting down with good friends and my leg is going a mile a minute and they put their hands on my shoulders and they're like, Vanessa, are you okay? You're really wigging out. And I'm like, no, actually, that's what's making me okay. So I've tried to stop shaking the leg when people notice or it becomes a problem, like it feels like an earthquake in the room or something. I just start to feel so gross in my own body. Like it feels, and I can't concentrate as well, and I'm not absorbing the information that's coming to me. And so I need to do that to feel good. Sound a little familiar? Sounds like many of my students. And then the last one that I'll just share is actually, we talked about tactile defensiveness with the sand. This is tactile seeking. And so one of my things that I do often is play with my hair all the time. My kids make fun of me because they're always like, this is mom. It was really cute. Actually, my son asked me, do you do that a lot with us because you're stressed? And I was actually, I think I do it more with you guys because I feel the safest with you. And I feel like I can be uninhibited and I want to be doing that all the time, but I don't want to be judged. Even I'm doing that, right? Even I'm thinking about my sensory tendencies and how it's going to be perceived. Caveat for another topic, but I will do that all the time. I'm constantly playing with my hair, constantly. Fun story. I've had several students who like to play with others' hairs, not their own hair, but others' hairs, like reaching for everyone else's hairs. And one thing we did was get some wigs and like some strips of hair. It happened to be Halloween time. At the Halloween stores, there was all this fun hair and stuff like that. Like, we could use. Talk about a fun sensory fidget toy, right? Here's a wig, friend. But that's what we did. And it worked great. It worked great. Can you imagine this little kid walking around with their wig? It's my sensory tool. Anyway, it was great. But yeah, I constantly am playing with my hair. And again, it's the same thing. It soothes me, it calms me down, it makes me feel good. And when I try to stop it, like when I become aware, I feel a little ooh in my body. It just doesn't, I don't feel as grounded when I'm not doing all of these things that I need. And so when I really stop and think about this, and these are just a few that come to mind. I have many. I have many. And I am hyper aware of my own sensory needs and profile because of obviously what I do in this world. But I really want to challenge you to kind of go through your own systems and think about your own way of being and what feels good to you in the world. What do you do with your hands, with your sense of touch? Are you a seeker? Do you like light touch? Do you move your body a lot? Do you love to swing? Some people love to rock. Some people are like, ugh, it makes them dizzy, right? Like, do you like bright lights? Do you like dim lights? Do you sleep with a weighted blanket? How hot do you like it in your house? All of these things are sensory stuff that we all have. So think about that. And then think about ways that you might be able to be like, understanding your students or your children a little bit differently. And knowing that these things are a regulation tool. They're nothing to be fixed unless they're negatively impacting their their functioning in the world, their ability to be safe and happy and thrive. So what? So what if I play with my hair nonstop, right? These are our own sensory tools. So really observing your kids and what they're doing and yourself. So I'm sharing these in hopes of you, broadening your own horizon and thinking about your own sensory kind of ways of being and being able to have compassion for our kids, right? They're just learning. We're all learning and just navigating all of this. So if you feel so inclined, please join me on Instagram and we can continue the conversation. You can also go to my website, sensationalempowerment.com, and I have some really fun free gifts for you. And I also have a new line of sensory stories about a little character called Sensory Sam, and it's super cute. So go check it out, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, loves.